So my message is simple. Today, the challenges of the energy crisis are still with us, and has been very hit. The energy crisis has hit the citizens and businesses across Europe, but also Bulgaria is not an exception. So on the contrary, the pressure on the Bulgarian economy is significant, and the capacity of national support schemes to mitigate the impact of high prices is put at serious test for the Bulgarian economy. At the same time, it's worth recognizing, therefore, that the Bulgarian energy sector is taken from both sides, from the public, but also from the private side. Only months after the deliveries of natural gas from Gazprom were cut off in April last year in Bulgaria, on October 1st October, we celebrated the opening of the IGB interconnector, a project that began 10 years ago and has become a reality in a crucial moment for Europe and for Bulgaria, allowing a real diversification of the gas supplies for Bulgaria and strengthening the security of supply of the region, including the Western Balkans, Ukraine and Moldova. Looking at the Western borders, I also want to highlight the beginning of the construction of the IBS interconnector with Serbia in January this year, which marked another crucial milestone in the region towards the diversification of sources and routes. The project is a step forward in the integration of Southeast Europe. This project, together with the expansion of the underground gas storage in Chiren, which is financed by the Connecting Europe facility, are putting really Bulgaria on the right track on the necessary infrastructure to secure and diversify gas energy sources. In order to secure affordable and competitive deliverables of gas through IGB, Bulgaria is an active participant in the newly established energy platform. Just to give a few concrete steps that the EU energy platform has given so far, has put the regional groups has been established, and Bulgaria is part of the Southeastern Europe regional group, which was the first regional group who met in May 1 year ago. Now we are quite advanced, and this week is going to take place the second steering board meeting, and in the steering board all the member states are represented, and Bulgaria would be this week in Brussels in this important meeting where all member states are steering the process of the EU energy platform together with our Vice President Šefčovič, who chairs the meeting. Important as well that the 5 working groups are going to meet as well next week with Prisma. Prisma is the service provider who is going to take care of demand aggregation and joint purchasing. And this is an important meeting as well, because there will be discussed technical elements and more information about how the tendering will be launched and how the offers and bids should be arranged by potential demand participants and supply participants. We also recognize the efforts that Bulgaria has done this last year to protect consumers from the high volatile and excessive energy prices that we experienced in Europe alone 2022. This comes as in many countries with a high burden for the state budget and for measures that were put in place to ensure that consumers can continue paying their bills, and our companies, European companies, were competitive, in particular those that were competing in the international markets, but also small and medium enterprises that were really highly affected by the high energy prices. So Bulgaria has been one of the countries that put measures, but has preserved the integrity of the internal market, was one of the main or key elements that we kept in mind in Europe where we put up in place measures. I would like to highlight that during this long 2022 year, Europe has acted quickly, effectively, and together in order to put an unprecedented amount of emergency measures that were proposed by the European Commission, but were adopted quickly by the European Council, means by all member states. Just to give you an overview of the measures that the European Commission proposed and were put in place, they were to address these short-term challenges, energy security, and high energy prices. These include, for example, obligation for member states to fill gas underground storages ahead of the winter, a commitment to reduce the gas demand consumption, measures to enabling member states to rechannel profits of large energy companies to help consumers struggling to pay their bills, and new rules to accelerate permitting of new renewable projects. Just to add, the joint purchasing platform that I mentioned before, but also a market correction mechanism that is going to prevent episodes of extreme price volatility. The policies implemented in 2022 help to stabilize the security of supply and the prices level in Europe. Just to give you some figures, the EU gas in storages now is one of the highest level in the last year. So today, the gas storages are 63% full, which is compared to last year was 37%. So this is a huge improvement in terms of energy security. And if we continue like that, we will finalize winter with the storages around 50% full, which is a good basis to prepare the next winter 2023-2024. Prices and the spot market, TTF, the prices today are around 50 euro megawatt hour, which is quite moderate compared to the high prices that we experienced, just to put the example, in August 2022. Member states have been very successful in gas demand reduction. They have cut demand by 90% between August and January, which means that we have saved 38 BCM during this period. The immediate measures and their impact should not distract us from the decarbonization objectives. This is what is announced in the European Green Deal. This is what is going to be the key objectives of the REPowerEU, which I have to recall. We try to reduce reliance on fossil fuels and in particular reduce our dependency on Russian fossil fuels. And the way to do it is to accelerate the green transition with more deployment of renewables, integration into the system, and to accelerate energy efficiency measures. Just to give you an example of the renewable revolution of last year, in 2022, 56 gigawatts of wind and solar capacity has been installed in the European Union. This represents 60% increase from 2021 and is an annual savings of around 11 BCM of gas equivalent. The prospects for 2023 are very good because we expect that would be installed more than 69 gigawatts of wind and solar. So this will save around 13 BCM of gas equivalent. Bulgaria private sector doesn't stand behind to this trend and to its rapidly deployment renewables. It's important to highlight that the request to the transmission system operator for access to the grid of newly installed renewables capacity in 2022 reached more than 17 gigawatts. However, despite this important interest, last year only around 200 megawatts of new capacity has been put online. The reasons for this mismatch are various, but it includes lengthy and complex administrative procedures, lack of grid capacity, delayed suppliers, or lack of skilled workers. So the mitigation of many of these factors is in the hands of you, Bulgaria, government and parliament. For example, there are measures in the recovery and resilience plans which aim to enable the uptake of renewables and also to unlock the potential for decarbonization of the Bulgarian economy. So we really encourage you to swiftly implement these measures because this should be a priority in order to mobilize private and the public investments that Bulgaria needs. Just to focus in the recovery and resilience plans, it's very important that Bulgaria should maintain the drive for implementation of the reforms and investments that they are in the plan, because this would allow as well for a positive outcome in the upcoming payment requests. Just to indicate that Bulgaria received in December 2022 1.37 billion euro, which was the first payment of the Recovery and Resilience Plan. As things stand now, Bulgaria is running a very risk for the subsequent payments, including that the conditions for the next payment will not be fulfilled. Just to recall that the Recovery and Resilience Plans, the disbursement are done when the milestones and targets are fulfilled. So it's very important to implement the intermediate milestones and targets in order to receive the disbursement, which are very important for the Bulgarian economy. So the Recovery and Resilience Plans include very important investments and reforms that they are going to deploy more renewables, electricity storage, and reforms that they are going to improve, among other things, the governance of the state-owned companies. I would like to recall that these reforms commitments on decarbonization are essential elements of the current plan. Bulgaria is one of the most carbon and energy intensive economy in the Union, but at the same time, Bulgaria has a vast potential for renewable energy and increased energy efficiency. So we need to untap this huge potential that Bulgaria has. I also want to mention that in 2022, Bulgaria has already forgone 100 million euro from the Just Transition Fund. And unless action is taken now, this will happen again and at much bigger scale, including new potential funds from Repower EU. Just to indicate that now member states should start preparing the Repower EU chapters. So it's again a good opportunity to use the Recovery and Resilience Plans to accelerate investments and reforms that can put the country on track in order to reduce the dependency on fossil fuels and to make the country competitive in the European Union. Let me conclude with our electricity market. This is the medium-term outlook. Beyond the current crisis, for sure we need to continue decarbonizing our system, and electrification is a venue for the energy transition. Just to indicate that in 2030, renewables should account for 69% of the production in the electricity market. The single integrated market brings major economic and energy security benefits across the European Union, but it's also clear that during the crisis, we have seen shortcomings that we must not ignore. The reform of the electricity market design aims to bring the benefits of low-cost renewables to consumers. This helps to mitigate the effects of the high gas prices and also electricity prices. At the same time, we need to ensure that the market helps finance the investments needed to build a secure, decarbonized, and competitive power sector. We have just finalized the public consultation of the electricity market design. It triggered a lot of public interest, more than 1,300 responses. The Commission now is preparing a legislative proposal that it would estimate that around mid-March would be tabled. The proposal is going to confirm what the consultant responses include. That short-term markets remain the best option to guarantee security of supply, cross-border trade, and the dispatch of the cleanest energy mix possible at any given time. This is the key elements of the energy market design. But short-term markets need to be complemented with a more important role of long-term markets and contracts, also with a view to foster the investment on the technologies we need for the electricity sector decarbonization. We intend to target 3 key areas, and quickly I will explain. First, we want to give consumers direct access to the benefits of clean power generation through boosting the power purchase agreements market, also for small energy enterprise, small and medium companies, and other smaller consumers, and considering the use of contracts for difference for new investments in generation where public funding is needed. Second, the proposal will aim to reinforce the rights and protection of consumers to ensure they have access to a variety of offers and they are better informed in general. And of course, to enable consumers to have direct access to renewable generation and self-consumption. Third, driving investments in renewable and flexibility. The only lasting solution is to have cheaper electricity prices. And the reforms aims to accelerate the deployment of renewables and the phase out of gas and of course coal where it exists, by improving the conditions for flexibility solutions such as digitalization, demand response, and energy storage. As mentioned, the reform will see the light mid-March. I hope that the outcome of today's discussion in this high-level conference is a consensus among the stakeholders that the current energy crisis creates also a unique opportunity to take decisive steps towards decarbonization, security of supply, and clean and affordable energy for the empowered consumers. The way you as a country, as we as a union exit from the crisis depends on our joint efforts and our mutual understanding on where the priorities are. I can assure you that the Commission remains an active partner to Bulgaria in its effort to reform the energy system and implement successful investments to the benefits of the Bulgarian companies and citizens. We recognize the challenges you are facing, but also the potential for the energy sector to perform better in the benefit to all consumers and the economy. With this, I would like to conclude my opening speech and wish the participants in the conference to engage in an active debate and exchange of ideas. We need discussions like this today to jointly take the necessary efforts tomorrow. Thank you very much.